Patriots, Packers, Saturday night. Who are the breakout candidates? Stick around. You're about to be locked in to the Locked On Patriots podcast.
You are Locked On Patriots, your daily New England Patriots podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello to all of you Foxborough faithful. Welcome to the Locked On Patriots podcast. We are a proud part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Remember to subscribe or follow for free on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts to ensure that you get the latest episode as soon as it's available. I am your host, Mike Debate. I cover your New England Patriots for Patriots Country of Sports Illustrated. So reach out to me and let me know what's on your mind on Twitter at MDABATENFL. And while you're out there showing some social media love to the pod, follow the Locked On Patriots account as well at LO_Patriots. And Pats fans, as you can see, today is Preview Friday, and we're going to be previewing the Patriots-Packers this Saturday, 8 p.m. from Lambeau Field, as the Patriots and Packers just finished up 2 days of practices on the practice fields adjacent to Lambeau Field. Definitely an exciting couple of days for the Patriots. Bounce back in a big way on Thursday. What does it mean for Saturday night? Well, here today to help me break it all down is my good friend, the Count of Murphy Fisto himself, the legendary Thomas Murphy, here today to help preview Pats Packers. Thank you for coming to me once again in friendship, Don Murph.
Oh, fantastic. Let's start the week together. Let's finish the week together, and let's walk this into Green Bay.
Absolutely. Definitely ready to walk it into Green Bay. And just as a reminder, folks, please remember that today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to, and they help you do it faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. And Murph, I think we're all excited to see the Patriots get back on the practice field, especially after what I described yesterday here on the pod to be a little bit of a chippy performance for the New England Patriots and the Green Bay Packers on the practice fields. We'll start on the offensive side of the ball, folks. I know there's a lot that you're hoping to see, and I know that you're looking for a number of different things. So when you turn on your television set on Saturday night and you take a look at the Patriots-Packers from Lambeau Field, what are you expecting to see from the Patriots offense in this one?
Much more cohesion. I think we talked about this earlier in the week. Fewer false starts, fewer holding penalties. I want to see who's on the line. Okay, I really do. I want to see if City So, my God, man, City So is starting over there at right tackle or not, and if not, who is? I want to see. I want to see if Mac is going to be running for his life all evening, okay, or part of the evening, because we all want to see Mac out there, but if he's going out there with 3 rookies and 2 backups on the offensive line, we're not going to see a lot of them. That's for sure. But I'd really like to see 3 to 5 drives. 3 to 5 series, let's turn them into drives. 3 to 5 drives with Mac Jones in there, and see how well he interacts with his wide receivers. If we're getting a little more of Mac Jones throwing guys open, if we're getting a little more Mac Jones getting that ball out of his hand before the break. Last week we saw some highlights of Mac hitting guys and people cheering and whatnot. It wasn't game situation. Okay. He needs to get that ball out quicker. He needs to get that ball out before they make the break, not afterwards, and hope that the catch is made.
Good point. Very good point. And I'm glad that you mentioned Mac. And 3 to 5 series is what I think a lot of people are expecting. At least a few snaps, at least a few series to get him going, get him action, really get a chance to get a full feel with a live pocket. These are important things for the Patriots. But I've heard rumblings out there. I've heard murmurs, basically, And I'll put on my Vincent LaGuardia Gambini cap for just a second.
Okay.
It's been argued by some, the devil's advocates, that Mac Jones had arguably his best practice as a Patriot on Thursday against the Green Bay Packers. Joint practices
2 years,
had
2+ years.
command, exactly, had great command, great poise, completing his throws, looked like he was essentially the quarterback every Patriots fan hopes to have. Is there any merit to holding your starting quarterback out after a performance like that, keeping him in good spirits and making sure that he goes into Tennessee still riding that high from Green Bay? Or do you have to throw him in there at this point to give him that game experience now going in there with him into the final preseason game?
Only if you're that worried about his protection. That's it. That's what it comes down to. Mac's got to be in there. He's got to get on cue right now.
Agreed.
All right. It's we've heard Bill talk about the guys that practice more aren't playing as much, and the guys that are playing more because they didn't practice as much. Bailey Zappi was throwing more balls in practice yesterday than anyone else. And more than Mac. I'm expecting Bill to keep his word on this. And as to Mac not seeing as much time on the field yesterday, and quite frankly, I don't blame him because it was so damn chippy out there. Guys were throwing down everywhere. That we're going to see a little bit more of him tonight. Yeah, I'm not buying into. We've got to keep Mac's confidence up. Mac is confident. Mac knows who he is. He knows this is his job, and right now it's more about getting that timing down with these receivers.
I agree with you 100%. And look, for anyone that's thinking that Mac's psyche may be damaged by getting an earful from Bill Belichick or by a poor performance out there, again, I had a little fun at the expense of the situation. I'm kind of doing tongue in cheek. And again, I'm playing devil's advocate. I agree 100% with Murph. I think Mac will be out there. I think he needs to be out there. And I don't think you're going to harm him by being out there unless the protection along the offensive line is so shoddy that you're worried about his health. That's really the only excuse that I can understand about sitting him out, because for anyone thinking that Mac Jones is fragile, that he can't handle the criticism, Bill Belichick gave him an earful heard around the world on Wednesday. It was very obvious, very palpable. All the writers that are in Green Bay covering the team this week wrote about it, absorbed it, reported on it. What did Mac do? He came out and he responded with his best performance, arguably, to date. So if anybody's wondering if he can handle Bill Belichick's criticism or maybe a little harshness on the sideline, no, I don't think you have any problem with that. You're not going to damage this kid's psyche at this point. To tell you the truth, I think it may be more detrimental to hold him out than put him in there, because it's showing maybe a lack of confidence, and that's something you don't want to show in your quarterback.
This is a guy that's been screamed at by the best in the business, and he went there and he played for Nick Saban. This isn't his first rodeo with Bill Belichick. If you screw up, you're going to hear it. Tom Brady heard it. There's again and again, and run it again, Brady, run it again. All right. And we're sitting here in the film room. This is what Tom did wrong here. All right. There's no way that he's going to be coddled. He doesn't expect to be coddled. And quite frankly, he doesn't want to be coddled. What did Mac Jones come out and say last year? I want to be coached hard. There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. And look, bottom line, you know that Green Bay is going to be looking to get a little bit of revenge. They want to take a little bit of valor away from this field after feeling like they had it stolen on their home turf just a few hours ago, really. So they're going to be out there. They're going to want to do it. We're not sure who we're going to see from the Packers defense. Jair Alexander had been out there for a while at cornerback this week. Not sure if we're going to see him in this game. Devondre Campbell, Rashawn Gary. We're not sure if these guys are going to see meaningful minutes, but guys like Lucas Van Ness, Chris Slayton, they're going to want to get out there and show what they can do. Quay Walker on his second year, going to want to showcase what he can do if these guys get some time. What better way to do it than to do it against Mac Jones? Mac knows that, and I think he'll be up to the challenge. He wants to play against the best as well. And speaking of Murph, two very exciting players this week, probably two of the players that are going to be watched most closely in this game. I think have a good chance of seeing a great deal of the field. One more so than the other, but maybe not the way you're thinking, folks. I'll start with the obvious. Malik Cunningham, how much do we see of him this week? Is it going to be mostly quarterback? Is it going to be at receiver, or a mixture of both?
That's a great question, and it's going to be a mixture of both. All
Hmm.
right, Bill is going to want to see. He saw last week what he was able to do under center, and this week I think he'll get some more run at the end of the game at quarterback again. But I think he's going to want to see what he can do with the second team offense or the third team offense out there as a receiver, and see what he can do with the ball after the catch. But it's going to be limited. You guys, you folks have to understand that this child is small. He's a small individual. He's not a large gamma induced individual. You can't run like he does if you're a gamma induced individual. And he's going to want to keep him from getting hurt. Last week
Good
he's
point.
not somebody like some of the other quarterbacks, the mobile running quarterbacks that you see out there in the NFL right now. He's not 6'4" and 240 pounds. And this kid is not 6 feet tall. He's not. I don't care what it says in the press. He's 5'10", 5'11". Okay, and he weighs about as much as my right big toe. Okay, and keeping him healthy and moving forward is going to be I don't want to say paramount, but look, this is a project. Okay, end of sentence. This is not going to be a gadget play guy. He's not going to come in for six or eight plays every single week. If he's on the roster, I can see him getting used for a play or two, but no, I expect to see him out there at both positions, but not a ton.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right on that, especially when it comes to the reps you're going to see him take at quarterback and the reps you're going to see him take at receiver. I think that you're
No,
going to see a little bit more of his diverse skill set. I know a lot of people want to see what Malik can do in the field. Give this kid a chance to come into his own. One thing that I
right.
thought was very interesting, and one thing that I thought was very eye-opening, when you heard guys like Troy Brown and you heard Bill O'Brien and you hear the offensive coaching staff and Ross Douglas as well, talking about
Mm,
how Malik Cunningham is constantly involved in helping to teach the playbook to
yep.
the younger kids on this roster. Him being an undrafted rookie free agent, it
Yeah.
sounds an awful lot like this guy is someone they value at the top of the heap. I'd be
Yep.
very surprised to not see him rostered this year, folks. So keep that in mind when you're looking at Malik. He's making contributions behind the scenes as well. If he's not out there a ton this weekend, doesn't mean the Patriots are soured on him. It may actually mean the opposite, that we're looking at a guy that may have already made his bones, Murph. I think we're all excited to see that.
I made my bones when he was going out with cheerleaders.
You know who I am? I'm Mo Green.
I'm Mo Green.
Anyway, yeah, we don't want to end up like Mo Green. No one wants to end up
No,
like Mo Green. That was not a good
no,
ending
it's
for
not a
Mo, but
pleasant way. No.
no. But we'll end on a pleasant note, Murph, especially before we take our leave from the
Yep.
offense. The newest Patriot, probably the most anticipated Patriot to see there out there this weekend. How much of Ezekiel Elliott do you think we're going to see in this game, if any?
We'll see him a bit. We
Mm,
will, and I hope he catches a pass or two out of the backfield just to see what's going on there. If we get down to the goal line, we'll definitely see him. There nobody. I still don't think that there's anybody on this team that will be better at the goal line than him.
mm,
His balance is unbelievable. Watching him bounce off one guy and just keep his equilibrium the way he does, bouncing off a second guy and then finally finding the end zone. This is a cure for what
mm.
ailed the Patriots last year. And yeah, I think we're going to see some run from him on Saturday night.
Yeah, I agree. It'll be a limited sample size, folks, but I
Yeah,
think the Patriots want to
been
kick
in
the
camp
tires,
2 days.
see what's there. Yeah, exactly. They'll kick the
You
tires.
stand
They'll
over there
see
next
what's
to
there.
Malik and learn the playbook, and then we'll get him
Yeah,
in.
absolutely. Wouldn't that be something to see Malik actually teaching them the playbook on the
Yep.
sidelines? No, you're not going to see that, folks.
Not gonna
But
see him.
in any case, I do think you will see Ezekiel Elliott maybe in a goal line situation. Like Murph said, I think they're going
Yep.
to be eager to show that he can catch the ball out of the backfield as well. Maybe shut a few people down south
Right.
up that seem to think that he's washed when it comes to that, folks. I assure you he's not. He's not going to be a prolific pass catcher, but he'll get the job done. I think they also want to show that he can be that ground and pound guy at the line of
Yeah.
scrimmage and get across and get you your couple of yards to get in the end zone.
I'm really interested to see Juju Smith-Schuster tomorrow night.
Good
I
point.
really am. Where he's lining up, how he's in contact with Mac, what their synergy is, and especially because I just need to see some yak, please.
Yeah,
Can I see some yak?
absolutely. And yeah, I mean, this really is the bread and butter of a Bill O'Brien offense, folks.
Yeah.
It is getting yards after the catch. And right now, we haven't seen a whole lot of that. And we saw formations against the Texans that led you to believe it was coming. A lot of horizontal passing, but not a lot of yardage being gained. I
Yeah.
think you're going to see that. And I think the Patriots
More
want to
vertical
utilize
stuff this week.
Exactly.
How about a wheel route?
What if a wheel route does happen, folks? I want you to put a
Murph got
comment
his
in the
wheel
section below that Murph got his wheel route and put it in this show, folks, because we know Murph's been waiting for one for a long time. So put Murph got his wheel route in the comments section, and we'll shout you out on Monday when we do our post-game analysis, as well as Monday mailbag. And you know what, Murph? It's good stuff. We've talked Mac Jones. We've talked Ezekiel Elliott. We've talked Malik Cunningham. Talked a lot of good stuff about the offense, but it's not all about one side of the ball, folks.
Ooh.
There's a lot of defensive players to keep an eye on as well, and Murph and I are going to discuss which ones are going to be catching our sharp. Patriots take the field at Lambeau Field on Saturday night against the Green Bay Packers. All this and more when this episode of the Locked On Patriots podcast continues. Proud part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. On listeners, today's episode is brought to you by our good friends over at LinkedIn Jobs, because these days every potential new hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team. They help you do it faster, and they help you do it for free. It is so easy to create a free job posting on LinkedIn Jobs. Just add your job and the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile, and that spreads the word that you're hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on the candidates with just the right skills and experience, so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and who you'd like to hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus the leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to, and they help you do it faster. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnfl. That's linkedin.com/lockedonnfl to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Pats fans, thank you once again for joining us here today on Locked On Patriots. Proud part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And because it's your team, folks, we are getting you ready for your team's second preseason game coming up at 8 p.m. on Saturday, Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Pats and Packers, going to be a fun one for a preseason matchup. Already some chippiness between these two teams. You know that tensions might be a little bit on the high side, folks. I know it's the preseason. We're trying to build it up as best we can. But bottom line, I do think there are going to be some moments that you'll remember in this. And I think one of the reasons why, Murph, is going to be the performance of some of the outstanding Patriots defenders they have on this roster. I posed the question to you. We talked about offense, what you want to see most. Same question goes for the defense, Murph. What do you want to see from these New England Patriots on the field against the Packers on Saturday?
First of all, I want to see who's covering the tight ends for of Green Bay. All right. They went out this year and drafted a couple of really good tight ends. We talked at great length about both Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft before the draft coming up as to, would they be fits here? Are they guys that the Patriots could use? Yes, yes, they are. And I want to see who's going to be dragging themselves around the field with them all afternoon. I also want to see, what's really going to be important to me tomorrow night is the production from Christian Barmore in the middle. All right, Barmore has really got to step things up this year. We have two fantastic. We've got a great group of linebackers out here, but when Barmore's on the field, I want to see that push, that interior pass rush that we all know is inside him, and I'd like to see that get off tomorrow night and maybe open up things for Judon and Uche on the outside and see how
Mhm.
well they can deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Very well said. And what a big surprise. I'm looking for a lot of the same things you're going to be looking for on Saturday night, Murph. You mentioned covering the tight ends, and I don't want to get you too excited, my friend, but Marte Mapu is no longer wearing that red non-contact
No.
jersey. He's getting into the mix, and I think you're going to see him on Saturday night.
Yep.
And my hunch is that you're going to see him potentially covering some of these tight ends. He delivered a pretty hard hit on rookie Tucker Kraft on Thursday. And we talked about Tucker and him being a good fit here in New England, how he checks all the boxes. This is a physical tight end, folks. And Marte Mapu did not
Knocked him
hesitate
out.
to drive his shoulder in. And for
You
anybody
got
who thinks that
knocked
he
the hell out.
for anybody that thinks that he might be hesitating, this looked like his days at Sacramento State. He was very aggressive, very much drawing a beat on the ball, and just was always in the right place at the right time. And that versatility is something that you're going to want to cultivate because of the limited sample size that you have with him
Yep.
taking snaps, meaningful snaps in the preseason, or I should say in training camp. You really want to get those done in the preseason. So I think we're going to get a better feel for how he
Yeah.
stacks up now, and potentially him in the game, I think, could be a big part of that. So I'm looking forward to seeing Marte. Maybe not a ton of snaps, but I think meaningful enough to give you a
Right.
sense of what this kid can do. And another guy that I'm really looking forward to seeing, and I want to play some mea culpa on this because I don't think I've given this kid enough credit for hanging around and being a force in this front seven. I've done two 53-man roster projections,
Yep.
Murph, and I've left them off of both. And I think I'm going to be wrong on this, and I'm glad I'm wrong on that. And that's Sam Roberts. Roberts has, I
Okay.
think, been very good throughout training camp.
He has.
Solid pressure, especially in these 2 days of joint practices, which is where my eyes have really been opened up. Seeing a lot of the footage that's been coming in from some of the beat writers that
Yep.
have been covering the Packers all week long out in Green Bay. The Patriots are healthy in their defensive front seven, so there's not a whole lot of spots available. But
Right.
anytime that you can put someone out there with the type of depth and the type of understanding of the Patriots system and that physicality that now Sam is starting to show here,
Yep.
I really think he's making a strong case for a roster spot. And like I said, I really hope I've been wrong about him up until now, because I think with a good performance on Saturday night, he has a chance to maybe put himself over the top in terms of making the roster than not. So those are the guys I'm really looking forward to seeing on defense as well.
Me too. I thought we saw a great deal out of the cornerbacks this week during the joint
Mm-hmm.
practices. We saw that they're really getting in tune. The Joneses are all on the same page. I expect them to have a nice rotation going through, but once again, it all comes down to the guys who didn't play a lot during the joint practices are probably the guys that we're going to see out there Saturday night.
Very true. And Bill Belichick has said that if you need the reps and you need to get
Yep.
experience, those are the guys that are going to play. The guys that are not playing are either not playing for a reason, and we all know what that reason is, or
Right.
they've already earned their stripes on this team, and they're
Right.
essentially laying back and finding out who's going to be backing them up or supporting them throughout the season. That's why I believe Sam is going to get some reps here, because I think he's playing for a spot on this team. I think the
How much
Patriots
will
see
we
it.
see Jalen Mills, Mike?
That's a good point. And I'm glad that you brought up Jalen Mills, because Jalen is someone who definitely has a spot on this team. Patriots are not cutting him loose. They brought him
No.
back for a reason. He's a
Right.
versatile defensive back, and there's a lot of different uses that they can put him out there on the field for. But the
And
thing
that's
that
what
makes
I'm
me
going for here.
yeah, I think you're going to see him at safety. I think the Patriots like what they're showing from him. I think the good news that came out on Friday about Jonathan Jones, that was reported by
Right.
Mass Live's Karen Garigian, about Jonathan just trying to
Yep.
round back into form, a minor injury, but at the same time, they expect him to be ready for week
No.
one.
He's going to be needed. He's going to
Yeah.
be needed, and they know what they're going to get out of him.
Mhm.
There's no need to rush him back right now.
Right.
Get healthy. Get
Yeah.
healthy,
And
son.
they know that they have a solid cornerback rotation between
Yep.
Jonathan. There's also positive news when it comes to Jack Jones' legal situation.
Yep.
That court date has been continued now to mid-September, after game one. So you have to think at this point that the Patriots know what they have at corner, and I think they like what they have at safety, and putting Jalen Mills in that role. It's going to be a great four-man rotation, and I'm also looking forward, Murph, to seeing some of the rookies. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to seeing Isaiah Bolden and Amir Speed.
Yep.
I think you're going to see them get a good amount of play this weekend as well, and have them maybe battle it out for a roster spot. Who gets the spot? Who gets the practice squad? Who's on the outside looking in? Are they both in? Or are they both out? This is an opportunity, I think, for them to make some waves, and I think you're going to see those guys as well. So excellent question. I'm glad you mentioned Mills. Yes, I believe you're going to see him more at safety than at corner. But you know what, folks? Bill Belichick dances to the beat of his own drum. We don't know what he's really going to do. The only way to know for sure is to tune in on Saturday night.
Let's hope Bryce Behringer shakes off whatever shanks he's got going on and starts kicking the ball the way we know that he can.
Corliss Waitman is actually winning the battle right now during joint practices. A big switch from what the Patriots saw early on, especially leading into the game against the Texans, and even in the game against the Texans, punting these moonshots into the air. He needs to recapture some of the magic he had in Foxborough. Maybe he does that on Saturday night. But Murph, it wouldn't be a preseason preview unless we talk to who we believe our breakout performers will be when this episode of the Locked On Patriots podcast wraps up right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Patriots fans, thank you once again for taking time out of your very late Friday night, early Saturday morning, bringing you into kickoff on Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, from Green Bay, Wisconsin, Lambeau Field, Patriots, Packers. Going to be a fun one to break down. And here today to help me break it all down and get you ready for kickoff, who else but the Count of Murphy Fisto and his impeccable wisdom and counsel, the great Thomas Murphy of E2G Sports. And Murph, we've talked offense, we've talked defense, things we want to see, but there are breakout players, breakout candidates that really can force their way onto a roster or force their way off of a roster with a big-time performance or a lackluster performance. You know me, I like to end on a high note, so we're going to talk potential breakout candidates. Is there anyone that has caught your sharp eye so far but hasn't quite made it over the hump yet, but you believe can do it with a big performance on Saturday night?
Yeah, you mentioned him already, and it's Isaiah Bolden. Okay, I really think that he can push his way right onto this roster with a good performance tonight. Never count out a Bolden, people. Murphy will never count out a Bolden.
Ever.
But no, I think
Never.
Isaiah can solidify a spot on this roster with a good performance tomorrow night, and I think he's going to see a lot of time on the field.
Yeah, without any question. I think Bolden has the ability to do it. I thought his reps were actually increased during the time that we saw him in joint practices earlier this week. The kickoff return ability to me is what gives him a little bit of the edge right now over someone like Amir Speed, who also showed similar traits and showed out a little bit during joint practices. But the thing I love about Isaiah Bolden's game is the tenacity, the ability that he has to draw a beat on the ball and go after it. This is a kid that plays aggressive, and I think he's going to continue to be. And if you can have someone like Isaiah Bolden and also someone like a Jack Jones in the same cornerback room, you're dealing with people that can definitely go out and get the ball because you've got lockdown talent in Christian Gonzalez. Excellent choice, my friend.
Thank you. I just think that he's the depth they need at that position. He's somebody that can come in and spell at a couple of different spots, and you can never have too many DBs. You really can't.
Agreed. And I think right now the Patriots have aligned their defense to be able to cater to some of these guys, especially the rookie corners and the rookie defenders. And I think you are going to see a lot of Isaiah Bolden and Amir Speed. And I think you're going to give them a chance to showcase their talents. On the opposite side of the ball, Murph, is where I'm looking. And my breakout candidate is probably not a surprise to most people that have been listening or viewing Locked On Patriots for the last couple of weeks. I'm very high on this kid, and I continue to be, and that's Kayshon Boutte. One thing about Patriots receivers, and I know a lot of you out there want to see Demario Douglas in extended action in a game setting.
Right.
I think you'll see him play more snaps than he played last Thursday against the Texans. But I don't think the Patriots are in a massive rush to show their hand when it comes to this kid. I think they really want a little bit of mystery, a little bit of intrigue. Despite of what Bill Belichick and Bill O'Brien tell you, they like this way, folks. And I think there's a
Yep.
reason why you're seeing him held out. He's a member of this roster, and I don't think he's going anywhere.
We've
But
said it before. Bill will hide somebody. He will hide
oh, he
people
will.
during these preseasons if he has plans for them in the future. If he wants to squeak them onto the roster or onto the practice squad to be a call up later on. Although I really don't think that um, that Douglas is going to end up being squeaked onto any practice roster right
Yeah,
now.
no,
He's
I
not going
think
to be on the
he's
squad.
yeah, I think he's primed
He's
for
here
a
or
spot
gone.
on this roster, and that's why I think it's so important for Kayshon Boutte to have a
Yep.
breakout moment in this game, and I believe he will. I could be wrong. We might be here on Monday morning, and you might be telling me how wrong I was on this, but
I
I
will.
think he's primed to be the perfect player to get extended looks. He didn't get a whole lot of looks on Wednesday and on Thursday.
Yep.
He was a light participant for the most part when you got to full field work. So that means he's probably going to get the lion's share of his looks this weekend. And I think that he has the ability to go up, make some catches, and raise some eyebrows. He still has the ability to be an explosive big play threat. We've seen him make a few impressive catches, not just in joint practices, but even in the scrimmages and a lot of the practices in Foxborough. He's tough to bring down after the catch. That was very evident against the Green Bay Packers this week, and even in his one-on-one settings. And he's got better speed than people give him credit for to be elusive when he has to change direction. If he can showcase a lot of these, plus put his body on the line and maybe make a couple of contested catches, I think he's going to make a strong argument for the Patriots to carry 6 receivers this time
If
around. And I
he if
know
he
people
if he
grimace.
throws a great block, that could put
Mm,
him over the edge. We
absolutely.
all know how Bill loves a wide receiver who can block. So
Absolutely.
it's every little thing, and he could ball out tomorrow
Yeah.
and figure it out. But no, I couldn't disagree with you if I tried, Michael. Great pick.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And again, folks, I mean, breakout candidates are subjective. So you can go ahead and think about players that you think have the ability to break out in this game. Drop us a note in the comments section below
Yeah.
or tag us on Twitter at MDABATENFL or TMurph207. We would love to hear
Yeah.
who your breakout candidates are and what your thoughts are for Patriots Packers. Murph, I always love breaking down games with you and previewing games. I'll be at the preseason. I know we haven't talked a lot about the competition that the Patriots are going to be facing because, let's face it, we're probably going to see limited Jordan Love. We'll see him a little bit, but it's not going to be extended periods. You know, Sam Clifford and Alex McGough are probably going to get their share. In that vein, Murph, before we take our leave of this game, any other closing or parting thoughts when it comes to the Patriots Packers that you think this fan base, especially the everydayers here on Locked On Patriots, should be watching for in this
I think we covered it. Covered everything that we possibly could here. But like I said, here's one. Who's the second tight end that we're going to see out there this week? Now
one?
that Mike Gesicki is down.
Yeah.
Okay, who's the next man up there?
Mhm.
Is Bill going to listen to me and get Mr. Washington out there?
I think he's got a shot at it, and I really do. We talked about this earlier this week, Murph. He is probably the most like for like when it comes to skill set that you can get to Mike
Hmm.
Gesicki. Anthony Ferkser plays a different style of tight end,
Right.
valuable in his own right. But if you're looking to replicate what Gesicki is going to give you, Scotty Washington has that ability. So maybe
Yep.
this is his chance to get out there a little bit as well. And maybe we see some of the starters that we didn't see in the previous week. Like Murph said, he's looking forward to seeing Juice Smith-Schuster. I think he gets out there a little bit. We're going to see Kyle Duggar for a couple of reps, maybe make his presence felt, go out there and maybe get a couple of hits in on guys like Tucker Kraft and like
Yep.
Musgrave, and really get these guys going a little bit. Folks, it is always fun when the Patriots take the field, no matter if it's preseason or regular season. But you know what's more fun? When this guy here joins me on the microphone. What can I say? You are always there for the handoff. You always get us ready for the moments, and in this case, it's getting us ready for kickoff on Saturday night. Any parting thoughts of wisdom for our adoring public, or anything you think they should be watching out for when it comes to you, the great voice, the great pen of Thomas Murphy, in your coverage, not just of the Patriots, but also the Red Sox heading into the weekend, bud?
Well, the Sox are kicking it off tonight against the Yankees. It's always something when you go down there to the Boogie Down Bronx, and this year they're fighting to stay out of last place. Okay, that's what this is. God, man, go read. I did a nice piece this morning over there at e2gsports.com. Go check that out.
Absolutely, folks. Definitely go ahead and check that out.
Get
I've
the
had the
mailbag
opportunity.
questions in.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad that you said that, folks. Hashtag Mailbag Monday will still be in effect. We might be breaking down what we saw over the weekend, but you know what? Mailbag Monday is the perfect opportunity to voice your opinions,
Yeah,
ask your questions about what we saw, what we didn't see, what
right.
excited you, what disappointed you. Ask us. We'll give you our best answers on Monday. So don't forget to get those questions in at any point throughout the weekend, folks. You can get those questions in no matter what's on your mind.
Right.
Murph and I want to hear it. Doesn't matter if it's offense, defense, Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi, this Jones, that Jones, the other Jones, even mob movie questions. We're available to answer them all. So
Please.
so please be sure to get them in. And thank you all of you everydayers out there for making Locked On Patriots a daily part of your New England Patriots coverage. Once again, folks, on the Patriots Preseason Network, check out your favorite team from Foxborough as they take on the Green Bay Packers. 8 p.m. Eastern, Saturday night, kickoff live from Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And definitely be sure to check us out here on Locked On Patriots on Monday for all of the breakdown of the action on the field and your great questions from Mailbag Monday. In the meantime, I am Mike Debate. He is Thomas Murphy. We remind you to stay safe and stay well and to be the change that you wish to see in the world. Have a great weekend, everyone. Enjoy the game on Saturday night. And the two of us will see you back here again on Monday on Locked On Patriots.
Jamarco Jones. I need more Jones.
More Jones. Not
More
that Jones,
Jones.
the other Jones.
Not that Jones, the other Jones.